Death is universal and happens so often, yet it's one topic that we all avoid. Why does something so inevitable feel so unspeakable? Recently, a lady with the name of Nadira Aziz realized that our society are not really grief aware because of her experience with people around her and her kids when she had lost her husband to cancer. So it all started out when she wanted to pick her child up from kindergarten and she was about 10 minutes late. So she forgot to update the teacher. And when her son told the teacher that Nadira would be coming at about 1:40, she's coming. She doesn't lie. That's the exact sentence that he said to the teacher. According to the boy, the teacher then replied, "I don't believe you, and she didn't SMS me anything. You don't lie." So when Nadira reached the center, right, her son was crying because he was scolded for lying. And the first thing the son said to Nadira was, "The teacher didn't believe me. How could you be late? Don't ever do that again." So this hurt Nadira lah. And then she realized then afterwards that this anger and emotions, right, actually come from grief because his dad just passed on, right? So as time goes on, there are more encounters with new people for both Nadira and her sons. So what she realized was that everybody walked around eggshells when approaching the topic of the death of the husband or the father. And for Nadira, right, as a widow, people around her also often fed her words of encouragement like, "You're strong." Usually, yes, it comes from good from his good-hearted words, but it annoys her because she feels that to her it felt very othering and as though they didn't want to enter the space of grief with her.
I mean, to expect anything less or more is a bit weird, right?
Yeah. So to me, when I read that, right, I feel like it is quite a common response, as it is a sensitive topic and more often, right, it is better to be more sensitive than less sensitive. So how do you guys normally approach people that are grieving?
That's the thing. I've been to like a handful of funerals in my life, right? When my grandmother passed away, right, I was quite young. My grandfather especially, he's very close to me, but I didn't see anybody that is sad. In all the other funerals I go to, basket, blackjack.
Yeah, actually, a lot of time, it's true. I notice also, funerals is a time for family members to come together.
So, there's very little grieving. So, I've never been put in the situation for me to approach it. Yeah, and I never grieve myself for the death of a loved one before. So
Like your friends,
He don't care one.
Like for me, if the situation is put in front of me, right, I feel the most likely thing I would do, right, is avoid.
Yeah, I know that's what you would do lah. It's not a bad thing, but yeah, I know that's what you probably do.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
I think I would do what most of our friends are doing. Like you would walk around eggshells a bit. You would not want to approach a topic too head on. If anything, just say, "Oh, yeah, I'm sorry to hear about that. How are you coping with things?" Yeah, this kind of stuff, the standard stuff. Because you must kind of gauge where they are on this, and you can only gauge by the things they share with you. You don't want to overstep the boundary. Then that will not be nice really. Like she's saying that people give me words of encouragement, and I feel they are not grieving together with me and stuff. That is still polite. It is impolite if you try to invade her space when she doesn't want it. So you wouldn't know this, and she wouldn't tell you also. It's not as if someone who's grieving will tell you, "Hey, I want you to grieve with me," and stuff, right? So you must play with that line a bit. I feel it's always safer to just not cross the line.
And I feel it's more annoying, right, if like people keep probing. Sometimes, it's damn annoying,
So you talk about the line, right? Do you then think that our society now, right, the line is a bit too much? Like everybody is being too sensitive and don't want to talk about death, or if you are grieving, then I will just leave you.
I mean, you are on the safe side, right? If let's say there are a small group of people who are open to these kind of topics and stuff, you don't know, how are you to expect what approach, or how are you to determine what is the best approach to take? If let's say let's say she tells a friend, or she tells you, or she comes up publicly and say, then now you can treat her like normal, and you can maybe be there with her during her grieving moments and stuff. And I feel, one other thing, right, is to expect someone else to grieve with you is also quite a bit of an ask. Because yes, you are uncomfortable and it's a difficult period in your life, but where is that guarantee that the other person feels comfortable doing the same thing as you? Or not doing the same thing, but being in the same space as you? That's going to take a toll on them also, right? So isn't that asking a bit too much?
So after her husband passed, she went to join this initiative called Death Over Dinner, where they are talking about grievances and people who have had the same experience. They come together and they talk about what's happening. I feel that you want to strike a balance or you want to achieve, people being in the same space as you, right? This is the best way to do it.
I think for someone who is like that, right, who instead of going to someone who is close to her, right, she choose to go to a community in a way, right, it shows probably one or two things lah. I mean, it can be because of judgment, it can be because of like sensitivity, it could be I spare a thought for you, like, I don't want to let you know that I'm sad and, just various reasons. But I feel that to go to this community is good because, right, everyone in that community has the empathy to understand you deeply and there's no judgment because we are all here for one reason, to release, to hear you, to hear them, so I think it's
I feel you go to a community like this where they are in that same boat together, right? I would assume, because just now you mentioned that they are all people who have lost a loved one, I would assume there won't be others who are just coming there for the sake of it or for the fun of it, right? So if let's say these people are comfortable talking about this stuff, you cannot use how they are like and extrapolate those to other people. Other people who are not like on the same boat, they may not actually feel comfortable about this at all. Why must the majority of people who they are living their life normally and stuff, why must they force themselves to be comfortable talking about these things? Why is it wrong for them to stay uncomfortable?
Imagine now, right, the majority of people, right, instead of like being sensitive, I mean, like they think that they are sensitive, but in the means of doing that, right, they actually not say the right thing, actually like hurt her more than what it's supposed to be, right? I think then there will be like,
Okay, I think that won't come about because when there's proper awareness, then you know how to approach and all. But what I'm saying is, in order for them to be aware, they must entertain the topic and they must listen to things about this.
Yeah.
So that itself will, at the start at least, make them uncomfortable.
And the thing is, right, things don't become a taboo, right? Because you say it's a taboo. It's the society come together and feel that, hey, maybe this is not a easy topic to approach. That's why it's a taboo. So if you expect the majority of them to be okay with this, I feel it's not a great ask, not a good ask. And I feel death should be a taboo. Cannot be everything, you must be able to talk about.
Everything open and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
Oh God, are you dying? I knew it. You look horrible.
Okay, since we are on the topic of death and we are supposed to be less sensitive about it, right? I'm gonna ask you guys this. If you can choose somebody to die first between you between you and your partner, who would you choose to die first?
Like later on.
Later on.
Then I die first.
You die first.
Yeah, I think he died first.
But then he said, yeah, I think he died first. But you want?
Like, just now I mentioned, right, I have never grieved a death before. But every time I was sad, it's always breakups, yeah. So right, like losing a partner. So I feel that, I feel that, I don't go through that, so I'd rather die first, yeah.
But you must be immune to that by now, eh?
No,
Really, man? 24 times, eh?
36